Hey, what's up, y'all? I had a jam session of music this morning. There's gonna be a really good football game right now. The Rams versus the GOAT, Tom Brady. I gotta go for the LA team. I'm from LA. Look at, I'm a Raider fan. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Raider fan, but Raiders left Oakland. You know what I'm saying? Raiders are always gonna be my diehard right now, you know. But they're letting me down. They're kind of going with the, you know. You're supposed to want championships over money, man. Disappointing, man. Disappointing. But check this out. So I'm waiting for the Rams. I'm gonna say this. Rams are stacked. Von Miller, and people rise up to the occasion in playoffs. And the Rams have experience. You know, they've been there before, you know. And they have weapons, man. Mad weapons. A guy like Cooper Kupp was hurt that year Rams went to the Super Bowl, so he wants it today. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to finish the last chapter of Kitchen Confidential that I didn't get to finish yesterday because somebody came to my house and I didn't have no private time anymore. So I got to hurry up. The game starts at 12. I got about 20 minutes and I got about not too many pages right here. So, but I fell in love with the kitchen. It was huge, well equipped and loaded with history. I even worked there for a day while at CIA. As part of a day in New York field trip, the dining room was appointed with the salvage from the ocean liner Normandy, which had sunk mysteriously in New York Harbor. It was an irresistible impulse. My predecessor, a jumped-up megalomaniac boob, had already plowed through most of the partners' dough, insisting on a kitchen staff of 13 people to serve 60 or so dinners a night, so I figured it wouldn't be too hard to make a difference and do some honest toil for these nice ladies, save them a few bucks. So he's taking over another kitchen. Hiring crew, post-supper club, with Steven as my underboss was always fun. I felt like Lee Marvin with Steven as Ernest Borgnine in The Dirty Dozen when they recruit a fighting unit from the dregs of the stockade. Steven and I would meet and I'd say, who's available? We discuss who was still talking to himself, suffering paranoid delusions, but can he still work the line? Who could be lured away from another job? Is he happy? How happy? What's he getting paid? Who was still loyal from the collection of part-timers and freelancers we used for party work at the supper club? Who had evenings free after knocking off at Le Bernardin? Who could keep it together, show up on time, keep his mouth shut, and do the right thing, even if he woke up every morning naked and covered with puke on a cold bathroom floor? Steve would scour the lunatic fringe, other kitchens, you know, chef's kitchens, flipping through the amazing mental Rolodex he kept in his head. The two of us embarking again on a clandestine headhunt that often stripped rival kitchens bare. I love those first interviews, laying eyes on old friends, new recruits, a motley collection of psychopathic grill men, alcoholic guard manger men, trash-talking chick sauciers, Ecuadorian pasta cooks, deranged patissiers, cooks who thought that Sylvester Stallone was keeping them under constant surveillance. Sly knows I wrote cliffhanger, and he knows I know too much, said one cook who'd apparently been communicating telepathically with Stallone while flipping burgers at Planet Hollywood. I need a 2 Heineken, 7 o'clock, said my old friend Chinese Davy from Bigfoot days, his hands scraped raw from extracting bottles of beer from a chain cooler night after night. Every night, 7 o'clock, 2 Heineken, no Budweiser. Heineken, you got the job. He got the job. I am there, chef, said Manuel Pasta stood on the phone from a very busy midtown kitchen. I am with you. He dropped his apron in the middle of pre-theater rush, told the chef to fuck himself and rush right over. I always liked that guy. He needed Sundays off to go to church, he said. No problem, and God help me. I even hired Adam now and again. I'm never going to slink home again knowing I fucked up. I tell Steven in one of our many post-game analysis sessions, things go sour here. It won't be for lack of trying on my part. I ain't never gonna dog it. I'm never going home at the end of the shift feeling ashamed. I don't care if the crackpots we work for deserve it or not. We're gonna give 100%. We're gonna fight bien fou over and over again every night. I don't care if we lose the war. We're professionals, man. We're the motherfucking A-team, the pros from Dover, cool breeze, and ain't nobody ever gonna say we dropped the ball, let the side down, let things slide. 1-5 tanked. The entertainment didn't help. We featured musical attractions so pathetic it would have made Joe Franklin blush. One-armed piano players, octogenarian cabaret singers, as aspiring Broadway ingenues whose nasal-inflected warbling could shatter glass, haplessly incompetent yodelers. Customers would wander through our magnificent revolving doors, clap eyes on one of these creatures belting out New York, New York with a Yugoslavian accent, and turn on their heels and run like a lot of restaurants in trouble. We got shaken down by every sleazebag publicist. I got Joey Buttafuoco to come in tonight. Make sure to comp him. And corrupt gossip columnists. My husband is at loose ends tonight. Can you take care of him? The press we got from such largesse usually amounted to something like: seen canoodling at 1-5, John Wayne Bobbin and Joey Buttafuoco. Not to mention likely to inspire a gang rush of dining public. Not to mention likely to inspire. But Steven and I were happy. We had the cooks we wanted. We were making nice food. When I was hired by Pino Luongo to open up Coco Pazo Teatro, my brief Tuscan interlude, I took Steven along. And after that, Sullivan's. We were a traveling roadshow, and when we moved to another kitchen, we peeled the best of the cooks we left behind with us. Steven, as I said, is my kind of sous-chef. He loves cooking and he loves cooks. He doesn't yearn for a better, different life than the one he has, because he knows he's got a home in this one. He gets along with just about anyone at any time, total strangers tending to forgive him his most egregious excesses, whatever he says or does. He's an ingratiating bastard, totally without pretense, and he cannot embarrass, shame, or insult him. He knows how bad he is. The Mexican line cooks at La Halle love him, and his tortured, completely useless command of kitchen Spanish amuses the hell out of them, as do his habits of singing Elton John and Madonna tunes in a high-pitched, atonal voice, prancing shamelessly around the kitchen like some spastic breakdancer, tapping over his sensitive nipples with Band-Aids to avoid chafe, he insists, powdering his balls on the line with cornstarch and showing anyone who's interested his latest cold sore, the boil on his ass, and then simply it's it. He truly loves the technical aspects of cooking, works fast and clean, and makes pretty plates. He likes to step into the other stations when other cooks get in the weeds, chiding them in his horrible Spanish. He loves dishwashing when not busy on his station, finds no task too low or too demeaning to take an interest in and help. He's a remarkably thoughtful guy. Mention you like gummy bears and Steven will show up the next day with a bag. If he stops off at a burger stand for a mayo and mustard and ketchup slathered grease burger for breakfast, we'll bring a couple extras so everyone can have some. Along among cooks I've met, he actually enjoys cooking for the floor staff, insisting on making the food that's actually edible. He jokes around with the waiters and managers, flirts with any woman no matter her age, rank, background, and amazingly they seem to like him. Mexican cooks I worked with for a year without hearing them peep a single word in English or Spanish were chattering happily away with Steven after only a few hours of meeting him. Cheletita loca, they call him. Crazy little pork chop. He has a tattoo of a cartoon cat wearing a chef's toque on his crotch, and he's all too ready to drop his pants should you express interest in seeing it. In hot months, he works in sandals, no socks. The cuffs of his checks rolled up like clam diggers, a daring fashion statement in the kitchen where a drop knife or spilled duck fat can be a career ender. He wears with defiantly prolate pride a dishwasher's snap front short sleeve shirt, shunning the traditional chef's jacket. He refuses to wear an apron. He eats his meals smashed together in bite-sized chunks, meat, starch, and vegetable mixed into an ugly but apparently edible slurry, and he's always trying out new flavor combinations. Middle of the rush, Steven is holding down his hand brilliantly and somehow making little potato crisp and caviar snackies for the other cooks to try. There's always enough to go around. Bartenders, waiters, managers, cooks, dishwashers, porters tell him everything. Somehow he induces, without even trying, total strangers to tell him their most shameful and intimate secrets. They'll do anything for him, putting up cheerfully with his practical joking, his groping, his annoying practice of trying to throw petites pois into their ears, his horribly frank anecdotes about the previous evening's sexual adventures. I learned never to try to compete with Steven in the practical joke department. He'll make a life's work out of getting you back. Leave a potato in his shoes and he'll freeze your street clothes. Put a sticker on his back, he'll take your locker door off the hinges and stack it full of porno magazines. On his birthday, I once arranged for him to receive a free trial pair of adult diapers. The next day, all the cooks were waiting for his reaction. He thanked me sincerely. You know, those things are pretty cool. I sat around the couch eating nachos and watching TV in my diaper, and it was great. I didn't even have to get up to go to the bathroom. It was great. And you know, it feels kind of neat. Our clean living, deeply religious Ecuadorian pasta man at Sullivan's, Manuel, who would receive 4 a.m. phone calls every night for weeks. Steven made cotests with his girlfriend. Manuel, grunt, plorp. It's Steven, grunt. Guess what I'm doing? And like everyone in Steven's life, Manuel played along. Oh, chef, He'd say, shaking his head the next day, Chuletita called me again last night. And then he burst into giggles. I don't get it. If I did half the things that Steven does regularly, and I'm not even talking about the felonies, just the brutish misbehavior, the bad taste, the remarks, the exhibitionism, the conniving, I'd end up in court defending myself against a host of sexual harassment lawsuits. And yeah, I can't think of anyone except the owner of Sullivan's, but that's another story, who doesn't like Steven, who doesn't find him adorable, who doesn't confide in him, go to him when he's confused or in trouble. An amazing accomplishment for a guy who shows up to work with sperm on his shoes. Stopped at a peep booth to toss off, he explains casually. Hey, I was horny. Who behaves like an utter pig at times, freely discussing his every digestive, dermatological, and sexual manifestation with anyone within hearing. And this, dear reader, is my closest and most trusted friend and associate. That's a sous-chef, Steven. I read this before. Sometimes I think I didn't even finish it before. That I started it. Because some of this seems new, but reading it a second time, you kind of like get how special because I ended up seeing a movie on a Bourdain. I read the book, seen the movie. I was hella faded in the movie. And then I'm reading this book again for you guys because it's, I want to share it. It's very popular. Anthony's like, motherfucker. But maybe when I get a little popular, they'll like get more sales one day, But anyway, that was the end of the dessert, my sous-chef piece. The game's about to start. I don't know if I have time. I'll try to do another chapter maybe. I'm on page 219, the level of discourse. Peace, y'all.